unassisted contempt. John Nesby, president of the Philadelphia Fraternal Order of Police, describes the local Black Lives Matter activists as a pack of rabid animals. And they picketed outside the home of a Philly cop who shot black suspects in the back on 2 separate occasions. After the officer was suspended, the local FOP held a fundraiser for him and proceeds from the $40 per ticket event going toward the officer's living expenses. They didn't care about public safety because the guy was in the wrong. Nesby made the remarks at a Back the Blue rally. Blue. Don't want to make your brown eyes blue? Oh my God. In August, and caught the heat of his choice of words. It wasn't the first time. Another Philly cop made headlines last year for having a tattoo of a spread-winged eagle under the word fatherland. Nesby defended the cop's apparent shout out to the official emblem of the Nazi Party, saying the tattoo was not a big deal. Okay, so in other words, we built this we placed this whole thing about Americana so heavily under heritage racism and of course neo-Nazism, separating themselves as though they are better. Not exactly. Okay. Drafted in a book. Okay, this is from Paul Butler. Paul Butler wrote a book, Chokehold, Policing Black Men. He argues that the U.S. criminal justice system is premised on the control of black men, and that this fact explains some of its most problematic features: mass incarceration, the erosion of civil liberties, brutal policing, and draconian sentences. The behavior of McNesby, okay, and FOP leadership more broadly further supports the claim. Even as law enforcement has become more racially diverse, the FOP seems committed to putting white men in charge. Those leaders consistently take stances against the safety and rights of black Americans. But what about those well, there are certain places where they got black, chiefs in charge and so forth. These are your modern day. Oh my God, these are worse than house Negroes. Okay, these are the white man's bitches. Right. As a result, the organization serves as a union, come a fraternity for white cops, and it has a retrograde effect on policing, especially as it relates to civil rights. Now the FOP, get this people, the FOP is basically the main instrument in rolling back civil rights in this country. And they've been doing it by hook or by crook and by force. The FOP is the nation's largest police association, the better union. Okay, they're a union, people. How is it this union is allowed to exist when there's so many unions that have been busted up? 300,000 members belonging to its 2,000 or so local chapter, FDA, the Fascist Drug Administration. Leadership consists of 7 white men, okay? A lack of diversity is striking in an organization that claims 30% of its members are officers of color. Bitches anyway, okay? And many of the local chapters appear to be run by white cops, even in cities where police forces that are predominantly of color, say like in Alabama. Baltimore's police department, for example, is 44% black, but its FOP had never had a black leader. The DC FOP chapter board is mainly white, even though the Metropolitan Police Department is predominantly black. The Chicago FOP has no black officers on the executive leadership team. Neither does the 9-member executive leadership board of the California State Group, which I challenged oh my God, I challenged them. If you don't believe me, ask Montel Martinez. I challenged him in City Hall, and Montel, along with Z and all his kids were sitting there. As soon as I'm on the mic, those fools dragged me up out of there because I questioned the FOP right there in front of City Hall. Okay? I questioned them. And they said, no, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing this, you gotta go, you gotta go. And I'm like, wow, I came here for my time, and you can tell me I'm getting caught off my time because I'm mentioning things about how the FOP is allowing police brutality to exist in the state? So you shoo me up out of there real quick? Wow. Common and ordinary citizens know that your city hall and your city council are backing the FOP and not doing anything to help in civil and human rights. Then what the hell did you elect them for? Oh, that's right. They were supposed to do things for the community. But we got to look and see. Here's what I advise people. Here's what I advise. If you're going to vote for anything or anyone to run your community, do what your employer does. I want to run a background check. I want a background check on every swinging dick that's basically out there trying to say, I'm running for such and such. You can vote for me because I'm with the people. Or vote for me because I'm vote for, I want small business to run. Or vote for me because I got da. Okay, I'll give you a good example of a good background check. Jackass who wants to run the VA. Now the VA, they say regardless of what Cheeseburger says about the VA, oh, it's 100 times better than any public hospital. No, it's not, Jack. I've seen the kind of services that comes out of the VA. The VA in California sits on like 40 acres of fucking prime real estate, all right? And there are only 3 places that are actually open, okay? Three to 4 places that are actually open, but they have tons of buildings all over the place that are basically empty. And you got homeless VA vets walking around on Skid Row? And you mean to tell me you can't open these places up and put beds in them? And now you are trying to hire some drug addict, okay, to run the freaking thing? Ugh. Where are our priorities? Oh, God. Where are our priorities on this? This is almost hilarious to the point of like, say, okay, let's just let, Whitey just screw everybody up. Okay? Black man can't get nothing, man. Right? That's what it is. Because I didn't get anything from out of the VA, despite the fact that I did have help. I did have help from my brother, Paul Martin. He wrote a good letter and so forth, and he did his best on it. But it still didn't get me what my claims or anything like that. So, guess what good is a drug addict and a drunk, okay, running, okay? And this guy's been taking like, Prepacid, okay? He's taking some, some sleeping pills and whatnot when he's flying. He's prescribing his own medication. What did that Scarface said, don't get high on your own supply? Well, if the government's giving it to you for free, I mean, good grief. All right? So, if anything, time and time again, those who are empowered to speak on behalf of the FOP have made it a point to support police officers involved in questionable shootings of Black Americans and other alleged abuses. But it's not just Black Americans, it's also Latino. And so it's also Latino Americans. It's also Latin Americans. It's also, anybody that's not white. Put it that way. Let's just lump it all together because they put Black in front of Americans. All right? One local chapter in Maryland raised money for Darren Wilson, the white officer who killed Michael Brown in Ferguson. After Chicago officer Jason Van Dyke was fired for shooting 16 bullets into Laquan McDonald, he was hired as a janitor by his local FOP. Yeah. After 12-year-old Tamir Rice was killed by an officer, the president of the Miami FOP tweeted, "Act like a thug, you'll be treated like a thug." Jay McDonald, the president of the Ohio FOP and its current vice president of the national FOP, started an online Stand With Cops petition asking for support for officers in the midst of the backlash to Tamir's killing. 12 years old. Act like a thug, you'll be treated like a thug. Wow. 12 years old. A child whose future has been robbed from him. All because he was playing for the media game of cops and robbers. Who's to say that he was playing the cop? Who's to say he was playing the robber? A toy gun. And because some racist ass white woman decided to call and make a complaint that there was a little boy out there playing with a damn gun, police officers mistaking a 12-year-old child for an adult. 12 years old. I'm not sure if you're hearing me. 12 years old. And then what happened? It was back to business, wasn't it? There was no parades. There was no justice coming from out of it. No, the FOP dictated your life and your death. And guess what? That cop still got a job, regardless. Despite all this, or perhaps because of it, okay, the FOP has outside impact on criminal justice policy, especially in the Cheeseburgers administration, who seems to be more of like a racist administration altogether, with their one representative token, Bubba Carson, who seeks to cause more crime and dissension. Okay? So Ben Carson says he's going to raise the rent rates 3 times, so that's $150. Well, that means that people who are getting subsidy might find themselves on the criminal end of it, because now not only are you taking opportunity, okay, opportunity and gainful employment away from them, okay, and you're making it harder for them to actually get any jobs and so forth, but also your work to work for a program doesn't necessarily work in places where you are racially discriminated against on your application. Then you have this circumvention of, say, Cheeseburger saying that, needless to say, I just, want to make more comments about breeding, okay, that make me look like a complete ass. Even if I send my token up there, my Malinchista out there to vouch for me on CNN. And then that dude had his ass handed to him. Straight up and down, he had it handed to him. So logic dictates on this one, people. When we get to the point of where the FOP now can say it's open season on poor people, who do you think is going to make more prisons available to house them? This is the creation of the debtor's prison that everybody's been afraid of, because if you don't look at the history of it, go and check out how it happened in Arkansas. One of the biggest things that people don't have are attorneys for eviction attorneys. They don't never have any eviction attorneys. In Arkansas, the landlords and the landlords who own the buildings and the property and so forth don't take care of nothing, but they pay your rent on time. And if you measure, the document reads like a wish list of everything a fan of violent and undemocratic policing could hope for, and the FOP got most of it. Yes, they did. So I'm gonna ask you people this. You guys gotta understand, the reason why I'm asking you this is you need to question authority now. Question authority now. Sure, it's okay to be a cop, but question it. Question it by demanding not only your rights, but enforcing your rights. If you can enforce your rights against the criminal justice that's coming from this so-called justice system, then you stand correct. Then you can stand correct in saying, okay, now I know that I am their employer. They know me now as the employer. And therefore, I don't answer questions of my subordinates. You want to have an autocratic society? Fine. I pay for my assistants. I pay for my assistants. I pay for my assistants. I pay for my help, and I pay for the people who basically do what I need them to do. Therefore, in an autocratic society, they do not have the right to question me, whether they're serving the public or not. Think of it, people. Think about it. You can't put me in those shackles if I don't say nothing. You can drag me down to try and figure out who I am all damn day long, and I can sue you for that because it is abridgment of my rights. My Miranda rights were not read to me, and therefore habeas corpus is thrown out of the court. So guess what? I'll get a lawyer. I'm not going to go and mess around with the stupid little Indians you got in your little tribe. No, I'm going after the chiefs, bub. Straight up and down. And I will get, I will get to you one way or the other. You can slow me down all you want, but I will. And believe me, I got a lot of time on my hands. And so should we all have that time set aside. You should not be just going out there just cop killing and so forth. No, that's the first excuse. You want to kill the FOP? Here's an ideal. You want to kill the FOP? Flood it with black nominations. Flood it. And when the racism is seen within the FOP itself, then you could give what is known as a Trojan horse. You see my cop? Tell them, say, are you a member of the FOP? And if not, move on. If not, give them a flyer. Give information that says you can vote to be a black representative on the FOP. Challenge the leadership of the FOP in your city, in your state, in your county. Challenge them, people. And if we don't learn to challenge these authoritative figures, we will not get the change. We will not get the policies that we are looking for: civil rights, human rights, universal rights. Okay? Those things that are basic to us all as far as living and knowing that life is very precious and we take care of it. Then and only then will we be able to affect the policies that this government has been throwing at us for the last 400 freaking years. Straight up. If you can't do that, if you cannot organize your community to do that, then what are you there for? I don't care if you are, bounty hunters or Great Street Crips, and you guys are making $50,000 a freaking month out of a year or a month, whatever you're doing, in narcotics trafficking. You're not organized. You're not organized. And all you're doing is placating sick and deafness within your communities. I don't care if you're La Familia, 18th Street, 213. I don't care. Sick and deaf. That's all you're providing. You're not fighting your real enemies. Respect each other's business, yes, but move beyond that stupidity and then radicalize your communities to fight the FOP, the one enemy that is now sitting in Cheeseburger's administration, that has basically got the pick of everything that they ever wanted. So therefore, they cannot be sued by the individual citizen. They need to be sued by the community. They need to be sued by community activism, the advocacy for human rights. Okay? They got the deprioritization of the Obama administration's policing commission recommendations, reversal of the Department of Justice ban on private prisons, the civil asset forfeiture, the end of DACA, and a crackdown on sanctuary cities, all of which aim to reduce the harm done to communities of colors by the criminal justice system. Case in point, perhaps it is the biggest gift that was delivered by Attorney General Jeff Sessions in person at the FOP's annual convention in August. Sessions was the event's keynote speaker, pretty much like John McCain when he was the keynote jackass who put ISIS in charge of everything, and now we got this. Oh, let's bomb Syria. Why? Because we have ISIS there. Oh, damn, we put them there. Okay, cool. Anyway, Sessions was the event's keynote speaker and announced that the Cheeseburger would sign an executive order restoring the 1033 program, the 1033 program. Program 1033 ain't for me, it's all for you, him, and thee, which gives local police departments surplus military equipment, including bayonets. Bayonets, man. Have you ever like used the bayonet? Those things are like razor sharp. Tanks and grenade launchers. Session told the crowd, "We have your back, and you have our thanks." The audience roared with cheers. Yay! We're gonna shoot these people like they're animals. We're gonna kill them and rid our country and make it an ethno state for all the whiteness that we could possibly muster. And you want this, and here's my one critique on that. All of you rappers who are doing this trap rap garbage, mumble rap garbage, and not even addressing this, and you are seeing your peers being shot and arrested day in and day out. Where their kid in South Africa who could probably give you a freestyle in a minute and a half and talk about the socioeconomic injustices that goes on within his doggone tribe. within his little group and so forth. And you mean to tell me you paid jackasses can't do any better than that? Sorry. Straight sorry. The black race can't afford you no more. You're done. All right? Straight out, you're done. Okay? Now, some might believe that the FOP's behavior and agenda are functions of its role as an organization that traditionally civil rights organizations like the NAACP and the ACLU should target the FOP as a barrier to police accountability. Community organizations and activists should make it clear to their police departments that citizens will never have confidence in cops who belong to a boy network of cheeseburger supporters does not represent the modern face of law enforcement. And lastly, maybe it's easier said than done. As unions, some of the local FOP chapters are entrenched with police departments around the country.